When a pilot stopped a black woman during boarding and challenged her right to sit in her assigned seat, passengers watched in discomfort, until the truth about who she was came to light. What happened next shifted the entire cabin and delivered a powerful message about dignity, identity, and accountability. The flight was nearly full when Dr. Maya Lang, a calm and sophisticated black woman in her late 40s, stepped into the cabin with her boarding pass tucked neatly between her fingers. She was traveling to Geneva to deliver a keynote address at a global leadership summit, an honor reserved for world-renowned innovators and policy strategists. As she reached her first-class seat, she placed her coat overhead and settled in with quiet grace, pulling a folder of briefing notes from her bag. The flight attendants welcomed her warmly, though they didn't yet know her status as a high-ranking diplomat and one of the country's most influential policy advisors. She had no need to announce it. She preferred to travel without fanfare. As the last passengers filed in, the cockpit door opened unexpectedly and the pilot stepped into the cabin, his expression sharp and unusually tense. He scanned the rows, his gaze landing abruptly on Dr. Lang. Without greeting her, he marched toward her with a clipped tone that immediately drew attention. "Ma'am, I need to verify that you are in the correct seat," he said, as though expecting her to be out of place. Dr. Lang looked up, surprised but composed. "This is my assigned seat," she replied, handing him her boarding pass. The pilot barely glanced at it before shaking his head skeptically. "We've had a number of seat discrepancies today. I need to make sure people aren't sitting where they shouldn't be." Passengers nearby exchanged confused glances. No one else had been questioned. A businessman across the aisle frowned. "She's literally holding her ticket," he muttered under his breath. The pilot, ignoring the murmurs, doubled down. "This is a premium seat, ma'am. I need confirmation that you purchased or were legitimately assigned it." The implication hung in the air like a heavy fog. A few passengers stiffened, recognizing the tone, the patronizing suspicion, the unwarranted scrutiny. Dr. Lang, steady as ever, maintained her poise. "I was assigned this seat by your airline. If there is an issue, you're welcome to scan my boarding pass properly." Her voice was calm, even courteous, but the pilot's jaw tightened. "I'm going to need to see identification as well," he said sternly. Gasps rippled through the cabin. A flight attendant quietly approached, whispering, "Captain, that's not necessary. She's in the right seat." But he dismissed her with a sharp wave. Passengers began sending messages through the airline's complaint system. A man in row 2 tapped vigorously on his phone. Another passenger quietly began recording. The tension grew thick. Dr. Lang reached into her purse and retrieved not just her identification, but a diplomatic credential embossed with an international seal. She handed it over without a hint of irritation, though her eyes remained firm. The pilot barely spared it a glance before saying, "I'll need to verify this," and turned toward the cockpit with an air of authority he didn't fully understand he no longer possessed. What he didn't know, what no one in the cabin yet realized, was that the truth about Dr. Maya Lang would soon unravel his assumptions and bring the entire aircraft to an unexpected standstill. It took less than 3 minutes for the situation to spiral out of the pilot's control. As he stepped into the cockpit to verify Dr. Lang's identity, a flight attendant swiftly sent a coded message to operations, alerting them of a possible misconduct situation involving an elite status passenger. Meanwhile, a businessman in first class, who recognized Dr. Lang from a global policy forum, sent a direct message to the airline's executive support team, explaining that the pilot had challenged a high-ranking diplomat without cause. The airline's response was immediate. Moments later, the jet bridge reconnected, startling the passengers who understood that this only happened when something serious required intervention. 2 high-level airline supervisors boarded, followed closely by a representative from international security, clearly called after Dr. Lang's credential triggered a priority alert. The supervisors approached the cockpit, speaking with quiet urgency. Snippets drifted back toward the cabin. "Misconduct, protocol breach, unsanctioned ID request, diplomatic clearance." Then came the words that shifted everything. "Do you understand who she is?" Silence fell. The pilot emerged with a stiff expression, his confidence visibly cracking. The supervisor continued in a firmer tone. Dr. Maya Lang is a senior diplomat, a federal advisor, and an internationally protected traveler. You challenged her identity and attempted to remove her from her purchased seat, without cause. The pilot's face strained of color. Passengers stared, stunned. Dr. Lang, still seated with composed dignity, simply watched. The supervisor turned toward her with deep respect. Dr. Lang, we sincerely apologize. Your treatment was unacceptable and will be documented. Thank you for your patience and professionalism. He then addressed the cabin aloud. This passenger is precisely where she is supposed to be. The captain acted outside procedure and will be stepping off this flight. The reaction was instant. Gasps. Whispers. Shock. The pilot attempted to speak, some strained defense about just doing his job, but the supervisor cut him off. You misused your authority. You singled out a passenger without cause, and you escalated unnecessarily. You will be removed pending investigation. The cabin watched in disbelief as the pilot gathered his belongings and exited the aircraft, avoiding Dr. Lang's gaze entirely. A reserve pilot boarded within minutes, quietly introducing himself to the crew. Meanwhile, passengers leaned toward Dr. Lang offering words of support. You handled that with such grace. That shouldn't have happened. I'm so sorry you went through that. She thanked them gently, her tone warm but grounded. The flight attendants, visibly shaken but relieved, checked on her with genuine care. Once the jet bridge pulled away a second time, the cabin exhaled collectively. In a matter of minutes, the truth about Dr. Lang had not only altered the trajectory of the pilot's day, it had transformed the understanding of everyone on board. As the plane climbed steadily into the sky, the earlier tension dissipated into an atmosphere of quiet reflection. Passengers processed what had happened: a woman of extraordinary influence challenged without reason, a pilot whose assumptions had collided with accountability, and a cabin that had witnessed dignity triumph over prejudice. Dr. Lang wasn't celebrating, that wasn't her nature. Instead, she returned to her briefing notes, though her calm exterior carried the weight of experience. She knew this incident wasn't isolated. Countless people faced similar scrutiny without a title to shield them or witnesses to defend them. What set this moment apart was not her position, it was the response. People spoke up. Procedures worked. Leadership intervened. Accountability arrived quickly and publicly, reinforcing that authority is not a license to demean, and respect should not depend on status. Flight attendants treated Dr. Lang with attentive care, offering water, snacks, and sincere apologies. She accepted each gesture with grace, never demanding more than simple dignity. Several passengers stopped by her seat during the flight, expressing gratitude for the composure she maintained and the clarity she brought to a difficult situation. She thanked each one with the same measured kindness. When the plane touched down hours later, the cabin felt transformed, as though everyone had learned something about assumptions, about humility, about the power of identity, and the danger of misjudging someone based solely on appearance. Dr. Lang exited the aircraft with quiet strength, leaving behind a profound reminder: respect is not granted based on who someone appears to be, it is owed because of who they are, a human being deserving of dignity. If stories like this resonate with you, moments where truth challenges prejudice, where dignity rises above disrespect, and where accountability is delivered in real time, stay connected. Share this message, continue the conversation, and help amplify narratives that uplift strength, justice, and courage. Follow now for more powerful stories that highlight resilience, leadership, and the importance of standing firm when someone attempts to diminish you.